Is the Cleveland Browns' future secretly being rewritten right under our noses? You think you know what's happening with Shedeur Sanders, Todd Monken, and Andrew Berry, but most fans and media are reading the headlines all wrong. While everyone's scrolling, debating, and speculating online, the Browns have quietly been running a playbook off the field that most people don't even notice. Let's start with Andrew Berry. This isn't a GM randomly dropping interviews or highlights for clicks. Every move, every video, every quote is calculated. It's messaging at its finest. He's shaping perception without saying too much, controlling the narrative while the media panics over leaks and rumors. And the timing? Perfect. Fans think it's coincidence, but it's strategy. Strategic releases, carefully curated highlight reels, and selective quotes. Everything is designed to make you focus on what they want, not what the noise online tells you. Then there's Shedeur Sanders. People see him returning from vacation early and think, oh, that's just hype. Wrong, that move was intentional, a statement of commitment and alignment with the Browns' bigger vision. He's not just a flashy name or a trending topic. He's part of a system, a plan that starts with Andrew Berry at the top and flows down through Todd Monken's offense. Sanders isn't stepping in blindly. He's stepping into a team designed to maximize his skill while fitting the long-term blueprint. Todd Monken's hire adds another layer. He's known for developing young quarterbacks, adjusting systems fluidly to fit talent, and producing breakout players without relying on flashy headlines. Isaiah Bond and Sanders could be the next stars because Monken doesn't just coach, he engineers potential. This isn't a random hire, it's a calculated alignment of vision, talent, and opportunity. And here's the thing most fans miss: hierarchy matters. Andrew Berry makes the ultimate calls. The coach has input, sure, but the GM is steering the ship. While fans argue about quarterback fantasies or trade rumors, the real moves are quietly being orchestrated. The Browns aren't just reacting, they're controlling the narrative, the roster, and the expectations, while the media and social channels chase myths of instant heroes. So, before you scroll through your feed or get caught in the hype of the next franchise quarterback, pay attention. The Browns' play isn't on Instagram, it's in how they're building, messaging, and maneuvering behind the scenes. And what's about to unfold could rewrite everything Cleveland fans think they know about winning football. When it comes to the Cleveland Browns, most fans think they're just watching football. They're not. They're watching a masterclass in media perception and messaging. Andrew Berry isn't just dropping quotes or interviews by accident. Every video, every highlight reel, every soundbite is calculated to shape the narrative without actually saying everything out loud. While the internet explodes with speculation, he's controlling the story in real time. And yes, it's working. Take the recent Shedeur Sanders situation. The story most people tell themselves is simple. Sanders cut his vacation short, came back, and now he's ready to play. But that's only part of it. That move wasn't spontaneous, it was intentional. Sanders arriving early isn't just about showing up, it's about signaling commitment. It's about proving alignment with the Browns' long-term plan. It's a message to fans, the media, and even teammates. This isn't a team of improvisers. This is a team executing a blueprint. Then there's the Monken hire. Todd Monken isn't just a coach. He's a developer of young talent, a system adapter, a strategist. The Browns didn't bring him in for flash, they brought him in for alignment. His track record shows he can take young quarterbacks, shape them, and elevate the entire offense. Isaiah Bond, Sanders, and even lesser-known rookies suddenly look like major players because Monken's system is built to maximize potential. This is a team thinking years ahead, not reacting week to week. And while fans debate quarterbacks, trades, and instant impact, the Browns are quietly setting the hierarchy. Andrew Berry makes the calls. Monken has input, sure, but the GM is steering the ship. Every media leak, every highlight reel, every interview is carefully timed to reinforce the story they want you to see. The narrative isn't chaotic, it's choreographed. It's marketing, PR, and football strategy all rolled into one. Meanwhile, the social media chaos distracts fans. Scroll through Twitter or Instagram and you'll see 1,000 takes, a million opinions, but most of it misses the point. People are obsessed with the next big quarterback miracle, but the reality is simpler. You have to build around talent, coach it correctly, and control the messaging. The Browns aren't letting the hype dictate their moves, they're letting the plan dictate the hype. So the next time you see a highlight clip or hear a rumor, stop and think, what's intentional and what's distraction? Because the Browns are showing you who matters, why they matter, and how the team is structured to win, without ever spelling it out for those chasing clicks. And if you can read between the lines, you start to see why this offseason could be a turning point nobody saw coming. Shedeur Sanders isn't just a player, he's a message in motion. The Browns didn't just draft talent, they drafted alignment. Every move Sanders makes, every press interaction, every early arrival to meetings, it's all part of a carefully orchestrated plan. Cutting his vacation short wasn't spontaneous, it was intentional. It was a signal to the team, the fans, and the league. I'm here, I'm ready, I fit the plan. Player management in Cleveland isn't accidental. Andrew Berry isn't juggling personalities, he's creating a culture. He's showing young players who matters, who's on track, and who gets the green light. Sanders, alongside Isaiah Bond, instantly becomes a focal point, not because of hype alone, but because the system around them is designed to elevate their talent. Other players see the blueprint, perform within the system, align with the vision, and opportunities expand. Miss the mark, and it's clear. It's not just about development, it's about perception. Sanders' early work with Todd Monken isn't a simple practice grind. It's about establishing trust with the coaching staff, proving he can adapt to a system that's flexible yet structured. Monken's offense isn't rigid, it's adaptable, and Sanders has to fit that puzzle. His preparation, focus, and execution show the league that the Browns' top players aren't just pieces, they're leaders of a larger machine. Meanwhile, the social media world keeps spinning, obsessed with instant impact and narrative drama. Fans speculate, blogs post hot takes, and highlight reels go viral. But the Browns' internal operations move quietly, strategically. Sanders' minutes, reps, and interactions aren't about optics, they're about long-term efficiency. Every choice, who trains with whom, who gets attention in meetings, and who's highlighted in media, is deliberate. And it's working. The young players understand the stakes. The veterans see the plan, even opponents are taking notes. Sanders' rise isn't just about skill, it's about fitting a system that's built to maximize him while sending a message. Discipline and alignment are rewarded. Fans may obsess over the next big play or touchdown, but the real story is the management of talent behind the scenes. Sanders isn't just playing football, he's participating in a culture shift. By the time the season starts, the impact is subtle but unmistakable. A well-managed roster led by a rising star like Sanders doesn't just compete, it signals intent. The Browns are showing the league how to blend talent, messaging, and culture. And Sanders is at the center of it, not as a flashy highlight, but as the embodiment of a system that turns young potential into on-field dominance. Watch closely. His development is a blueprint for what the Browns hope becomes a lasting foundation. When the Browns hired Todd Monken, it wasn't just a coaching decision, it was a strategic signal. Monken isn't a coach with a rigid playbook. He's a system architect, someone who adapts his schemes to the personnel in front of him. That's why Andrew Berry emphasized fit over fame. Monken's history with young quarterbacks, mobile passers, and hybrid offenses made him the perfect match for a roster in transition. The hiring process itself reveals the Browns' blueprint. Berry and the front office cast a wide net, evaluating candidates for alignment with the team's vision, not just name recognition. Monken stood out because he brings a balance of structure and flexibility. He doesn't force players into a system, they enhance his system with their strengths. That's why players like Shedeur Sanders and Isaiah Bond became immediate focal points. Monken saw potential to amplify their skills while reinforcing the Browns' offensive identity. Monken's philosophy blends innovation with practicality. It's rare to find a coach who can seamlessly shift between an air raid concept, a power run game, or a play-action-heavy scheme without losing cohesion. For the Browns, that adaptability is gold. It allows the offense to stay unpredictable while still building around a central identity. Versatility, creativity, and maximizing player strengths. Every practice, every drill, every game plan is designed to reinforce that adaptability. But the philosophy goes beyond X's and O's. Monken's system requires collaboration and communication. The front office and coaching staff work together to ensure that personnel decisions, draft picks, and player development align with the scheme. When Berry talks about casting a wide net, he isn't talking about shallow scouting. It's about strategic evaluation, identifying players who can thrive in Monken's adaptable offense and contribute to long-term success. The impact on the roster is immediate. Young players aren't just learning plays, they're learning to think the game at a higher level. They're understanding timing, spacing, and situational awareness in ways that make them more effective in live games. The system elevates them, but it also holds them accountable. If you can't adapt, you fall behind. If you can, you rise fast. Monken's hearing also sends a message to fans and the league. The Browns are serious about building an offense that can evolve and sustain success. It's not about instant gratification or flashy stats, it's about creating a culture of growth and strategic execution. With Monken at the helm, the Browns aren't just hopping for big plays, they're engineering a foundation where talent, preparation, and intelligence intersect. By the time the first game rolls around, Monken's fingerprints will be all over the field. Every read, every formation, every creative wrinkle will reflect a system designed for the personnel, not the other way around. This hire is more than coaching, it's a roadmap for the Browns' offensive future, and the message is clear: adaptability wins. When it comes to the Browns, understanding the hierarchy is everything. Andrew Berry didn't just hire a coach, he established the pecking order. Fans and media often think everyone's on equal footing, that the coach and GM are co-pilots, but Berry made it clear he's calling the shots. The coach has input, sure, but the final decisions, that's the GM, and that dynamic has huge implications in the locker room. Players instantly know who has authority. It shapes accountability, practice intensity, and even attitude toward teammates. When Kevin Stefanski was let go, some were shocked, but the move highlighted the structure. The The GM sets the blueprint, the coach executes within it. It's not personal, it's organizational clarity. That clarity trickles down to players like Shedeur Sanders. He knows who's in charge, and it affects how he prepares, how he shows up, and how he collaborates with teammates. Locker room reality isn't just about authority, it's also about messaging. The Browns have mastered the art of communication. Every interview, every social media post, every public interaction is intentional. It tells players where they stand, who's being highlighted, and which strategies are prioritized. For rookies, seeing the structure and messaging in action is a lesson in professionalism. It's about understanding your role, knowing the chain of command, and respecting the process. This also prevents confusion or false narratives. Too often, fans assume a player's individual success can reshape the team on its own. But the Browns have shown that a system matters as much as talent. The coach, the GM, and the players all have interconnected responsibilities. Miss one link and the chain weakens. The roster isn't just a list of names, it's a network of roles defined by who has authority and how the message is delivered. Even small things matter: who gets highlighted in interviews, who's called out for performance, and who gets media attention. These decisions signal priorities and expectations. It's a quiet kind of leadership that often goes unnoticed by casual observers but speaks volumes inside the building. Players respond to it, they know who's driving the ship and who's accountable for the direction. In the end, hierarchy and locker room reality are inseparable. Andrew Berry's approach shows that structure, authority, and messaging create alignment. It's not flashy, it's strategic. And for players like Shedeur Sanders, understanding this hierarchy isn't optional, it's essential for thriving, for knowing where to focus, and for contributing to the team's vision. Everyone loves the idea of a franchise quarterback. Fans scroll social media, highlight reels, and analyst takes, dreaming that one QB can magically fix years of dysfunction. But the reality, it's far more complex. Andrew Berry and the Browns have made it clear: you don't just find a quarterback, you develop him. You surround him with talent, coaching, and strategy. You build a system that maximizes his strengths, and even then, luck plays a role. Look at the history of NFL development. Teams desperate for a QB often chase the shiny prospect, expecting instant success. Seattle had Sam Darnold, but he alone couldn't fix the flaws around him. Meanwhile, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Justin Herbert were all in situations that allowed development before they became stars. Development isn't instant, it's deliberate, it's patient. It's putting the right offensive line, receivers, and coaching around him so he can grow without being buried under pressure. And let's talk about perception. Fans get addicted to quarterback narratives like scrolling through Instagram. They chase fantasy versions rather than reality. The next best QB looks perfect online, but in real life, context matters. Injuries, scheme fit, coaching style, and locker room hierarchy all shape success. A franchise quarterback isn't a wand, they're the centerpiece, but they need every other piece to be functional. Andrew Berry understands this. The Browns aren't gambling on hype or social media clicks, they're structuring the roster and coaching staff to give the QB a real shot. That's why Todd Monken was hired, to adapt his system to the players, not force them into a rigid scheme. Shedeur Sanders, Isaiah Bond, and other young players are being set up with a developmental blueprint. It's not just about who throws the ball, it's about who blocks, catches, and executes. What fans often miss is that even elite QBs aren't self-sufficient. Super Bowl champions didn't get there with raw talent alone. They had layers of coaching, development, and organizational clarity. You can have a star quarterback, but if the offensive line collapses or the scheme doesn't fit, nothing changes. Success in the NFL is about alignment, preparation, and consistent execution, not wishful thinking. The takeaway: stop chasing myths. Stop assuming that a QB alone can rewrite history. Development is intentional, systemic, and ongoing. Cleveland is building that foundation piece by piece with patience and precision. Fans may want instant gratification, but real progress comes from structure, support, and strategy. That's how a franchise quarterback becomes truly transformative, not overnight, but over time, surrounded by everything he needs to succeed. The NFL offseason is full of noise, and nowhere is that more obvious than in Cleveland. Fans, analysts, and social media experts spin narratives, speculate trades, and dissect every potential quarterback move. But here's the truth: the media hype rarely matches the reality on the field. Andrew Berry and the Browns have made it clear they aren't playing into the chatter. They're executing a deliberate strategy, and it's far more nuanced than the headlines suggest. The Browns have mastered messaging. Every interview, every highlight reel, every press release is intentional. When Andrew Berry drops insights, it's not to create clicks, it's to shape understanding. Fans see Shedeur Sanders' early work, Isaiah Bond's tape, and assume it's random. It is. This is a coordinated effort to spotlight who matters, who's being developed, and how the offensive vision is coming together. The strategy is precise, but the media often misses the details, turning measured development into drama. Social media amplifies everything. Fans scroll through clips, highlights, and hot takes expecting instant success. Quarterback conversations dominate feeds because they're exciting, easy to debate, and addictive. But hype doesn't account for the work behind the scenes: scheme design, coaching, collaboration, roster alignment, and player growth. The Browns are focused on process, not perception. While the headlines scream chaos or must-win pressure, the team is quietly building a sustainable system. Messaging also controls narrative expectations. Andrew Berry isn't just managing the roster, he's managing perception. He makes it clear who the key players are, why certain decisions are made, and how development will proceed. Media speculation about instant success or blockbuster moves misses the broader picture. Fans may be chasing the fantasy of immediate impact, but the Browns are investing in long-term performance. Every practice plan, positional grouping, and draft decision ties back to an on-field strategy that is deliberate, structured, and data-informed. The lesson here is simple: hype is loud, but it's not predictive. The Browns are operating like a chess game, with every move designed to maximize growth and efficiency. While analysts argue, the team develops. While Twitter debates trades, coaching staffs align with player strengths. While fans chase narratives, the Browns are laying foundations that will pay off once the season starts. Media noise will always exist. Fans will always speculate. But understanding the difference between hype and strategy separates the casual observer from the informed follower. The Browns' approach proves that thoughtful planning, intentional messaging, and on-field alignment outweigh every viral hot take. The real story isn't in the clicks, it's in the execution, and that's where Cleveland is quietly getting ahead. Fans and social media have completely changed how we experience football. Every move, every trade, every quarterback rumor now plays out on screens in real time, and people treat it like a matter of life and death. Scrolling through highlights, hot takes, and endless debates, it's easy to get caught up in the drama, and that's exactly what the platforms are designed to do. The dopamine of speculation, of arguing, of discovering a hidden insight keeps viewers hooked, but it often distracts from what's actually happening on the field. Quarterbacks are the perfect example. Fans talk as if one new signal caller will instantly erase years of dysfunction. Every draft pick or trade becomes a mythic story of salvation. But the reality is far more complicated. A quarterback is only as good as the system around him. Offensive line protection, coaching philosophy, roster depth, and development all matter, and luck plays a role too. Social media hype makes it feel like the quarterback alone carries the entire franchise on his shoulders. That's rarely true, and it often leads to misplaced outrage when results don't match the fantasy. Scrolling amplifies this effect. One day you see a highlight reel of a rising star, the next, a clip of a veteran struggling. Add in viral debates, memes, and endless commentary, and the brain starts chasing illusions. Fans want instant answers, instant heroes, instant drama, but football, like any complex system, moves slower. Development takes time. And performance depends on collaboration between coaches, players, and management, not just flashy plays on Sunday. Media narratives feed into this cycle. Analysts argue about quarterbacks, draft strategies, and contract moves as if the story is all about drama and conflict. But the Browns, for instance, are intentionally controlling messaging, highlighting young talent like Shedeur Sanders and Isaiah Bond, and letting the process play out quietly. Social media obsession often misses this nuance, making the team look reactive when in reality, they're proactive. Ultimately, fan psychology is about chasing an idea more than understanding reality. People scroll endlessly, expecting the next big revelation to solve all frustrations. They project myths onto players, celebrate potential, and condemn mistakes without context. But the teams that succeed, Cleveland included, focus on the work behind the scenes. Strategy, player development, and thoughtful coaching matter more than trending clips. Understanding this dynamic separates casual observers from informed fans. Social media may feed addiction and emotion, but it can never replace the slow, deliberate process of building a winning team. The Browns' methodical approach proves that real football isn't about instant gratification. It's about execution, development, and patience. Fans who grasp that are the ones who truly understand the game beyond the hype. At the end of the day, what really separates the chatter from the action is understanding the game behind the headlines. Fans get caught up in quarterbacks, draft boards, and social media drama, but winning football doesn't live in your feed. It lives in the work done off the screen. Cleveland's approach, from carefully selecting coaches like Todd Monken to highlighting young stars like Shedeur Sanders, shows that strategy, patience, and intentional messaging matter far more than hype. It's about building a system where each piece fits, not chasing the next flashy narrative. Consider this: a franchise quarterback alone doesn't fix everything. The offensive line, roster depth, coaching vision, and player development all combine to create results. Yet fans often act as if drafting the perfect signal caller will instantly erase years of underperformance. Social media fuels this myth, offering dopamine hits from hot takes, viral clips, and endless debates. Every highlight or scandal feels like the defining moment, but in reality, it's just noise. The teams that win, the ones that actually build dynasties, focus on the slow, deliberate work that happens away from cameras, tweets, and trending topics. Even more fascinating is how perception shapes action. Fans see instant reactions, argue about quarterbacks like they're saviors, and scroll endlessly for validation or outrage. But the real moves, draft strategies, messaging, coaching hires are orchestrated quietly, intentionally, and deliberately. The Browns, for example, manage both public perception and internal development simultaneously, showing that information is power when handled smartly. Those who can read between the lines get the bigger picture. It's not about chasing fantasy, it's about executing reality. So here's the thought to take away. Stop measuring the game by what trends or what's viral. Stop chasing myths of instant fixes. True understanding comes from watching the strategy unfold over time, appreciating the decisions that don't make headlines, and recognizing that every success is built on a foundation, not a moment. The Browns are showing fans exactly how they intend to win, but many will miss it because they're too busy chasing the next highlight reel or social media drama. The next time you're scrolling, remember this: football, like life, rewards patience, preparation, and execution. The narrative isn't always obvious. The story doesn't always fit neatly in 30-second clips or trending posts. Winning happens quietly, consistently, and intentionally, and the fans who can see past the hype are the ones who truly understand the game.